Monster X versus Camazotz. I've had several requests to debunk Gojira's video on the topic, but this video is going to be explaining from a more accurate point of view how this fight would go down and why people seem to just underestimate the giant bat for some reason. So first, let's get into the basics. How powerful are our contestants? How fast are they? What abilities do they bring to the table? Camazotz was able to fight on par with adult Kong during a healthier period in his life, before Skull Island went to complete guano after King Ghidorah's storm razed it to the ground, which was actually caused by Camazotz. So this Kong should be superior to the unhealthy Kong that we see in Godzilla vs. Kong, who, while significantly weaker than the King of the Monsters, was able to still put up an admirable performance. He took several attacks from a holding back Godzilla with little damage, and only when Godzilla actually went all out was he able to completely crush the ape down. So Camazotz nearly defeating Kong puts him at least in the same caliber as this weakened GVK Godzilla. Alternatively, you could say that he would have similar attack power to Mecha Godzilla, arguably even more, because Kong was physically able to overpower the mech a couple of times. Camazotz put up an even better performance against a stronger and healthier Kong, and nearly defeated him, as mentioned before. The only reason he didn't is because Camazotz got a flashbang right in his face, temporarily disorienting him, allowing Kong to land numerous powerful blows, ultimately knocking the Bat Titan out. And it is also mentioned if Camazotz had defeated Kong, he would go on to even challenge Godzilla.
He then would have started advancing to other places, and similar to it's been established that like there are alpha titans and other titans will sort of work in tandem with them. I think then it would have become maybe not necessarily the same as King Ghidorah, but I think you would have had like another titan, like a destructive titan, trying to supersede Godzilla and sort of like claim ownership over the earth. And that was sort of my take on it.
Of course, Godzilla is the strongest creature on the surface of the planet, so he is superior to the Bat, but I could expect Camazotz to at least put up a somewhat decent fight against him. Being even a fraction of Godzilla's power is very impressive for the Bat Titan. As we've gone over numerous times on this channel, Godzilla has numerous impressive feats, whether it be blasting into the hollow earth with a suppressed beam, generating anywhere from small to normal planet-busting amounts of energy due to the subatomic nature of the atomic breath and radiation in the Monsterverse in general, to even his power level in general being compared to the entirety of the hollow earth.
Well, this energy signal is enormous.
And almost identical to readings from Gojira.
As our sun fuels the planet's surface, this energy sustains the hollow earth, enabling life as powerful as our aggressive Titan friend.
The super radioactive planet core that generates intense gamma rays, coming out to an impressive 43 Ronatons of TNT equivalent, enough to destroy small stars. Considering in the books it's mentioned that Hollow Earth's portals have black hole-esque gravity, this might actually just be consistent, so decimating large chunks of the planet would be much higher than doing so on our normal Earth. And we know that Godzilla should definitely be stronger than this core blast, because he used the exact same level of power against Mecha Godzilla when he was much weaker. If Camazotz was to survive even a single blast of atomic breath, this would net his durability well into this level of strength as well. For more consistency with this, we can use the fact that Shimo casually created the entirety of Greenland. Given her absolute zero temperature, this actually comes out to a large planetary feat. And we know she used a much stronger beam against King Ghidorah, and Godzilla evolved. Of course, Camazotz isn't on their level, but I think it'd be hard to justify even more than, say, a 10 or 20 times difference between them. and being able to compete with, and arguably defeat, a stronger Kong than the one who could take at least some exposure to the force of Shimo's beam. Pretty good stuff. As for his speed, he seemed to be outspeeding Kong, who as we know can react to the relativistic speed of Godzilla's Cherenkov atomic breath. He was also able to block Shimo's beam, which can match the atomic breath and speed. This should grant Camazotz at least relativistic level reactions, arguably faster than light given the fact that Kong is also able to outspeed Mechagodzilla, with the robot's beam being 2.6 times faster than Godzilla's atomic breath, putting it above the speed of light, nearly twice so in fact. While Kong never actually reacts to the proton scream itself, he does outspeed the mech, which can react to and fire its own beam at that speed. Monster X is a bit simpler. His very meteor crashing towards the planet generated at least multi-continental levels of force. Godzilla blasted it with his atomic breath and detonated the meteor. X shrugged this off with no damage whatsoever. It was also stated several times that Godzilla can actually destroy the entire planet, and that he was considered unstoppable to a future version of humanity who believed that they could actually blow up an entire planet. This gets Monster X anywhere from planet level all the way up to large planetary, depending on what's accepted and the calculation used for that hypothetical feat. He is also stronger than Godzilla at that point in time, blatantly outclassing him in melee combat and even speed, forcing Godzilla to get stronger to defeat him. And even after Final Wars adapted, the two only seem to be equal. Via the original context, Monster X will not be allowed to transform into Kaiser Ghidorah, which I think is honestly fair. I do think you need higher Monsterverse creatures to beat Kaiser Ghidorah. As for his speed, as mentioned, X is faster in combat than Godzilla is. The same Godzilla who could see X's 67% lightspeed meteor as slow, and make a dramatic anime-style attack in order to counter it. Based on this perception, Godzilla would be at least faster than the speed of light, by 3 to 7 times at a conservative basis. And if you highball even further, potentially up to 30 times, though that is a bit extreme. So as we can see here, Camazotz has a solid advantage in attack power and durability. While X is possibly breaching into that large planet level strength, Camazotz is consistently at this range. While he is weaker than Godzilla, Shimo, and Ghidorah, arguably even Kong, Monsterverse gaps do not seem to be enormous like they were in past eras. I doubt you could justify even, say, base evolved Godzilla being 100 times stronger than Camazotz or something like that, which is the sort of gap Monster X would need to compete in brute force. However, X has a significant gap in speed, being anywhere from 3 to even 10 times faster than Camazotz. Now let's break down their abilities and powers to determine who would win in a fight. Monster X has no notable weaknesses that we know of. However, he was defeated by Godzilla simply using brute force, skill, and his atomic breath. So that is a factor in Camazotz's favor. X brings with him expert level martial arts combat. How skilled? We don't know. Final Wars just fights good, and X is arguably his equal. And the anti-gravity beams that can decimate gravity to a small extent, and match Godzilla's radioactive atomic breath in a beam clash. X can even spam these attacks 3 at a time at least, and can work well with others like Gigan to subdue relative foes, showing some degree of battle intelligence. Camazotz brings with him the ability to manipulate the weather, arguably through telekinesis of some kind, a horde of minions that he can use to distract his foes, great physical strength and battle intelligence shown by outwitting Kong at several times, and of course a sonic screech that's even been compared to the likes of Muto Primes. Now it's pretty clear that X has the more impressive overall abilities, in that he has projectile attacks that he can attack Camazotz from a range with. Given the gap in speed, this could on paper allow him to chip away at Camazotz's superior durability. However, I personally feel that Camazotz would just get pissed off at that point and use his Sonic Screech, which as we can see is a very debilitating attack. At this point, repeated blunt force trauma attacks by say dropping X on the ground should be sufficient for the stronger Camazotz to gain a victory over the Emperor of the Universe. After all, this is exactly what Kaiser Ghidorah did to Final Wars Godzilla. So yeah, surprise, surprise. Every once in a blue moon, Unga Bunga and correct analysis can come to the same conclusions. Camazotz wins.